Today, I'm back to share more of my favorite affordable makeup products for the summertime. I feel like a lot of my summer beauty videos have focused a lot on mattifying products, which obviously come in handy when the weather changes and it is really hot outside. But today, I wanted to share some good glowy, luminous, bronzy options. Products that are just very easy to incorporate into your routine, that are super comfortable. I feel like that's key during the summertime. I want something that's effortless, that's fast to use, but also feels lightweight and comfortable on the skin. I do want to say thank you to Walmart for sponsoring today's video. I love shopping on Walmart. Whether I'm looking to repurchase some of my daily go-to essentials, things I use every single day, or I need something new for the season, I can always find it on Walmart. They have amazing high quality products in all different categories. I obviously love shopping beauty, skincare, makeup, but if I'm looking for something for my house, clothing for my family, things for my kids, I know I can find it on Walmart, and they have amazing affordable prices, which is what I absolutely love. You can find everything in today's video on walmart.com. I'll make sure to link everything in the description box. You can shop through those links, or you can find like the price information, the shades I use, everything you might need to know in the description box, and I'll pin it in a comment as well. So let's get into it and I'll apply the products and show you like one of my favorite summertime makeup looks. Okay, let's start with sunscreen. So one of my favorite sunscreens, probably the glowiest sunscreen I think I've ever tried, is this one from e.l.f. It's the Suntouchable Whoa Glow. This actually comes in a couple of different shades depending on the look you're going for, your skin tone. There might be one that works better for you. I use the shade Sunbeam, and I love this one because it adds a little bit of like a peachy golden glow to the skin. I love the texture of this because it is very lightweight, which is key, but it's also so smoothing on the skin. I don't typically wear this one on its own because it is so glowy. If you have really dry skin or you're looking for like the most intense glow, you might actually love wearing this on its own. But I love pairing it with a super mattifying foundation, which can be my go-to during the summertime because this glow really shines through any base product. And again, because it's moisturizing and smoothing, I feel like it does make the perfect base before you go in with a foundation or a skin tint or tinted moisturizer. I just want to start by applying it to this cheek so you can see the difference, because if you love a glowy base, like this really is such a gorgeous glowy sunscreen. I typically do like a very glowy, very smoothing sunscreen. I'm trying to think. I guess I have a couple that lean in like the matte direction, but for the most part, I feel like I do go for a very, very glowy sunscreen all year long, but especially in the summertime. The nice part about this one is you can really load it on the skin and it doesn't pill. It doesn't have like a heavy or sticky feeling. It truly has like that lightweight, very smooth texture. So today I'm going to use the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. I have the shade 20 Light Cool, which is going to be a little bit light for me. So I will mix in some bronzing drops. I've actually been using a little bit of self tanner. We went to the beach and I did get a little bit of a tan, but my face and my neck don't tan at all because number one, I use a lot of sunscreen, and then number two, I always have like a big hat on. So I've actually been using a couple of tanning products, which I haven't done for a while, just because in my mind, it feels like such an intense process. Like I just don't want to commit to it, but these sounded very easy. So I've been using the Tanologist self-tan drops. These are for your face and your body. These are actually so easy to use because you just take a little bit of this product and you can customize it. So they say use anywhere between 2 and 12 drops and mix it in with your daily moisturizer. So I do it at night usually. I'll film a clip for you so you can see what I do. I've been taking between like 4 and 6 drops, and I've been mixing it with the e.l.f. Holy Hydration Face Cream, which has been a favorite for years, but I think this is just the perfect formula because it's not too heavy, it's not too lightweight, so it just creates a nice glide and allows you to really evenly apply the product. And then the next day when I wake up, my skin has a little bit of a glow to it. This bottle will honestly last me absolutely forever because if I'm only using between like 4 and 6 drops every single time, I just can't imagine I'll finish it up anytime soon. So I've been enjoying this a lot, no streakiness at all, and it's just very gradual. And then I also picked up this product, which in my mind is so much easier than like a traditional tanning product. It's the Firming Daily Glow Body Lotion, also from Tanologist. So you just apply this every day to like, well, you can apply it wherever, but I apply it to my chest, my neck, my arms, my legs, and it just gives me like a nice gradual glow without being streaky or being too intense. So it's been the perfect way just to add a little bit of a bronzed glow, but not committing to like a full tanning routine. So anyway, because of that and actually being on vacation, all of my normal complexion products are a little bit too light right now. So I'm just going to mix in the e.l.f. bronzing drops. I use the shade Pure Gold. I'm going to start with that much and I'll see where I'm at. I like the e.l.f. bronzing drops because they're pretty pigmented. So I do think they give, or they make, a pretty good impact without using a ton of product. Let me start applying the foundation and then I'll see if I need to mix in some more. But I love a good bronzing drop for the summertime. You can throw them into your foundation to actually adjust the color of your foundation, or you can mix them in with your moisturizer. I wouldn't recommend mixing them with your sunscreen. Initially, I was like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. But then I was reading if you mix anything with your sunscreen, it can alter the formula or, even impact the efficacy. So I don't recommend doing that. I think I added enough of the bronzing drops, but I love this Soft Glam foundation because it's so customizable. So if you wear it over a matte primer, it's going to appear more matte on the skin. It's a satin foundation, so it is, it kind of leans both ways. It's so nice for summer though, because it is incredibly lightweight. And I don't know about you, but I just don't typically want to reach for anything super heavy on the skin. There are very lightweight, long wearing mattifying products. Sometimes when you choose something mattifying or long wearing, it can feel a little bit heavier on the skin. So this is a really good everyday foundation. It works to even out the skin tone, but it's not too heavy. It's not too much at all. Okay, so moving on to concealer and bronzer. I'm going to do bronzer first. One of my favorite bronzers, especially for the summertime, is the Milani Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer. I use the shade Hey Honey, and this is perfect because it lasts really well. Sometimes cream products for me are not the most ideal for the summertime, or I might go in with a cream and then later I'll go over it with a powder, which is probably what I'll do today, just because on days where I want my makeup to truly last, I feel like locking them in with powder makes a big difference. But this cream bronzer actually does last very, very well, no matter how hot it is, no matter how humid it is, if I'm sweating. It's not quite as glowy or luminous as some of the other cream bronzers in my collection. But again, when you're pairing it with a glowy base, it does transform the product just a little bit. So I like using this with a very glowy base because if I'm using something even glowier than this, I feel like it's just a little bit too much. And I will go in and set it with powder. But I'm just going to add some warmth to the skin and get that nice summery bronzy look. For concealer, I actually picked up an old favorite that I haven't had in my collection for a little while. It's the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This one is in the shade Fair Warm. I hope this isn't going to be too light. During the summertime, I don't usually reach for as much concealer because this is where my makeup tends to break down the fastest, no matter what the weather is like. So I feel like if I have a ton of concealer on, it can tend to get a little cakey, a little heavy, no matter what the brand is. But I do like a little bit of concealer just to kind of brighten up the center of my face. I actually have a new powder to try out in today's video. Everything else is like a tried and true favorite, but in my last video where I talked about, oh, this concealer, a little bit goes a long way with this one. In my last video where I talked about like my favorite products for summer, I told you one thing that I really don't have is an affordable loose powder that I love, that I like swear by. I love the e.l.f. Halo Glow loose powder, but during the summer, I feel like I usually need something that locks my makeup in a little bit better. That's actually a really good option if you want something super lightweight and you do like a glow. It doesn't have glitter or shimmer in it, but it does give the skin like this very beautiful, just kind of natural glow. So that is a great option. But when I'm using this many glowy products, I do need a good matte powder to really set everything into place. So I picked one up based on your recommendation. This is from Wet n Wild. It's their Photo Focus Loose Setting Powder. This one had the most recommendations by far. So I just poured the powder in the cap and I'm just going to take it on a sponge and again, just kind of lock things in. This is going to, ooh, okay, I think I got a little bit too much powder on there. This is going to erase a lot of that initial glow, but it will come back out because it is hot outside and I do have very oily skin. I always say this, I wish I didn't have to set my makeup. And if you have dry skin or you love like an intense glow, you might not have to. But if I don't set my makeup, no matter what products I'm using, it won't last. Okay, that is a gorgeous powder. It is so smoothing, but it's also very light. Like it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. Like you can see the difference between the two sides. So Okay, I'm excited about this one. Okay, one nice thing about this powder, it doesn't have a scent. I feel like a lot of my favorite powders have very strong scents, which don't always bother me, but I know some people are very sensitive to fragrance in their makeup, and like I really don't smell anything. I had to go grab this. I wasn't initially planning on using this in today's video, but this is perfect if you are like me and you have to lock your makeup into place and maybe it looks a little bit too matte. Honestly, I don't think this powder looks overly matte. I love the way it's set like the center of my face, but this is also a great option for the perimeter because it is a glowy powder. Again, it's from e.l.f. And this is a beautiful formula. It has a tiny bit of coverage, but it basically just makes your skin look like skin again. It gives a nice glow to the skin. So I love using it both to like set the perimeter of my face, but also as a finishing powder. If you are using mattifying cheek products like bronzers, blushes, and again, you feel like they just look a little bit too flat on the skin, take this product and blend it right on top of the bronzer and the blush. I'll do that at the end and you'll see it just adds like a nice, soft, kind of candlelit glow to the skin that is so pretty. I'm going to speed through my brows because I do tend to use the same 3 brow products in most of my videos. So I love the NYX Thick It Stick It Brow Gel. This is really great at locking your brows into place. So I do think it's a good option for summer because it is very long wearing. It adds texture and color to the brows and it's very, very buildable. So I apply that to my brows, I let it dry, and then I go in with the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen just to fill them in and give them a little bit more of like a hair-like appearance. Again, a really great long wearing option. It's not going to smudge or run throughout the day. And then I typically take the NYX micro brow pencil and use that to just kind of outline the underside of my brow and maybe extend it out just a little bit. I'm going to keep the eyes pretty simple, but I love this palette because you can go light and soft or you can go a little bit darker if you want. This is the e.l.f. Keep It Ethereal palette, just some good staple neutrals. I'm going to start with this shade and then I might go in with a little bit of this deeper brown. During the summertime, I usually just stick with a brown in the crease or even a bronzer and then a shimmer or a highlighter all over the lid. Just something quick and easy. I haven't been wearing a ton of eyeliner this summer. Sometimes I'll take brown shadow and use that to line my eyes, but I just kind of like a simpler eye these days. I'm just taking a little bit of that same color on my lower lash line just to tie everything together. And then I am just going to take a little bit of that medium brown in the crease just to darken it up a little bit. For the lid, I think I'm actually going to use a little bit of highlighter rather than eyeshadow. I don't want anything too glittery or, you know, what's the word? I was going to say chunky, but those e.l.f. shadows aren't chunky. There's just a difference between like a shimmery, glittery shadow and a highlighter. And I love a highlighter on the lid because it just gives a very smooth glow. This one is just from Milani. I recently picked it up. I actually don't have a ton of highlighters in my collection right now. And I feel like a nice, just a good highlighter that I can use on the eyes and the cheeks is just always nice to have on hand because it's a good multitasker. So it's great if I'm in a hurry, but there's something about an actual highlighter formula on the eyes that I think is so flattering. It gives like that wet, glowy look, but it's not like a full-on, like a glitter, like I was saying earlier. This is their Strobe Light Instant Glow Powder in the shade Day Glow. It's so pretty, just very smooth. So I will use that on the cheeks in just a couple minutes. I think I will take just a little bit of the darkest brown shadow in this palette to line my eyes softly. I'm not going to do anything too intense. For a lot of people, I know they like a good waterproof mascara during the summertime. If you're like me and you just don't like the process of removing waterproof mascara at the end of the night, a very simple trick is to just apply your favorite mascara and then lock it into place with a tubing mascara. One of my favorite tubing mascaras is the Milani Highly Rated Lash Extensions. I actually use this on my bottom lashes pretty much every single day just because it does stay in place really, really well. This is a very wet formula, so depending on how you feel about wet formulas, you might really love it. You might like it better once it dries out a little bit, but you can use any mascara. So one of my go-to daily mascaras is the e.l.f. Lash and Roll. This one's in black. I thought I had it in brown. I actually might be thinking of the e.l.f. Lash Extender, which is another one of my favorite tubing mascaras, but this one is nice for everyday wear because it is a good curling mascara. I feel like it's pretty natural on the lashes. I mean, you can build it up to some extent, but it doesn't really look clumpy at all, which I love. So on more natural makeup days, I do feel like this one comes in handy. But I'll start with this one, and then I'll just add a little bit of the Milani on top and show you how it does kind of help to transform it, but also lock that mascara into place really well. I mean, I don't have any issues with this one flaking or smudging, but tubing mascaras in general are just so long wearing. They basically wear like waterproof mascaras, but they're a lot easier to remove at the end of the night. So here's what the e.l.f. mascara looks like on its own. Really pretty, adds a nice curl to the lashes. But if you have a favorite mascara and you're not into waterproof mascaras, but you want to lock it in, just take a little bit of any tubing mascara and layer it right on top, and it will just kind of seal it into place really, really well. So if it is hot outside, if you're sweating, if you typically deal with a lot of transfer issues with your mascara, just adding this right on top into the, the very tips of your lashes really does make a difference. I am going to add a little bit of powder bronzer. I love this one so much. First of all, it kind of has like a tropical coconutty scent, so I do feel like it's perfect for the summertime. But the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer line, this one's in the shade All Butted Up, is perfect for the summer because it just gives your skin a nice, natural, luminous glow. It's not over the top at all, but it just looks very flattering on the skin. Again, kind of like a lifelike, skin-like finish. I also love the Buttermelt blushes so much. My favorite shade is Feeling Butter. It is so gorgeous. It is the perfect bronzer tone if you want a blush bronzer all in one. Now this is, again, very, very richly pigmented. So for my skin tone, I honestly just need like the tiniest amount. I recommend starting off with a lighter hand if you try these because they are pretty intense. So you can always add more, whereas it's a little bit harder to kind of tone it down. But again, these give the skin like such a beautiful glow, which I feel like is just perfect for the summertime. This kind of gives like a little bit of a sunburnt effect. I mean, you can see I just went in with a little bit too much on that side. So if you like that, it would be really pretty all over like the center of the face too. I don't know if the blush on the nose look is for me. I feel like, I mean, I have like a breakout right in the center of my nose right now, so it kind of draws attention to that. But I don't know. Sometimes I try to go for like the sunburnt blush effect, like right over the center. I just don't know if I love it on me. But like I said in the beginning, if you go in with a little bit too much or you feel like you just need to kind of smooth out the edges, highly recommend the e.l.f. Halo Glow Press Powder because it just gives everything like that gorgeous airbrush finish and adds, again, some glow back to the skin. So pretty no matter what products you're wearing. To finish off the face, I'm just going to take that Milani highlighter that I used on the eyes and just apply that to my cheeks just to add even more of a glow. It's such a pretty, smooth formula. It looks so good on the skin and just applies really, really seamlessly. This is such an underrated hidden gem. I really haven't heard that many people talk about it, and I just kind of picked it up on a whim, and I'm so glad I did. Nothing like a good lip stain, especially for the summertime. I feel like 2025 is the year of lip stains. Every single brand is coming out with one. I like a good glossy lip stain for summer because you get the best of both worlds. You get a nice glossy lip, and then once that layer wears off, you're left with a stain. One of my favorite formulas is from NYX. The NYX Lip IV Hydrating Gloss Serums are gorgeous. So many beautiful colors. I think I went with a bright lip in my last video, so I think today I'll stick with this one. This one is Hydra Honey, which is actually my favorite shade. I'm just going to start with the e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner. This one is in the shade Baddest Beige. It is a lip stain, so I don't feel like you need a lip liner, but I like kind of kicking things off with a lip liner just to really define the edges of my lips. This shade that I'm using from NYX, Hydra Honey, is not so intense. Like the brighter, more vibrant shades definitely stain more intensely, whereas the lighter shades, they're not quite as, the stain isn't quite as obvious. So I do feel like a little bit of lip liner underneath doesn't hurt. But I just love the Hydra Honey shade. It is so pretty. I also love the formula. It has like a gel kind of squishy like texture. So it is so comfortable on the lips. Just really pretty. One last recommendation. I love a good setting spray or facial spray that has sunscreen in it. For me, if I'm wearing a full face of makeup, this is the most ideal way to, reapply my sun protection. I think it's obviously most ideal to go in with a good sunscreen as a base, but if you're wearing a full face of makeup and practically speaking, you're not going to take all of it off to reapply your sunscreen and then put it back on, a setting spray or a mist that has sunscreen in it is a nice way to get that added sun protection throughout the day. I really like this one from the brand Summer Camp. First of all, I feel like it's the perfect size. I actually just keep mine in my purse, but you could keep it in your car, you could throw it in your beach bag. This one doesn't have that strong sunscreen scent. A lot of them do. It doesn't burn my eyes, it doesn't irritate my skin. It's a really nice fine mist, so it's very comfortable as you apply it. And again, it does give you a nice glow. You could also use this on your scalp. I mean, it might make your hair a little bit greasy, but because it dries, I feel like it's not too bad. But sometimes I'm like out in the sun and I forget a hat. Not normally, I'm really good about wearing a hat, but if I do, I can feel my scalp getting sunburned. And this is a very easy way to apply sunscreen to your scalp to protect it as well. So that's everything I wanted to share with you in today's video. If you have any summer beauty recommendations, sunless tanning products, bronzy products, glowy products, let us know in the comments section below. I would love to hear from you. Again, thanks to Walmart for sponsoring today's video. All of these products can be found on walmart.com. So like I said, I'll link everything in the description box and pin a comment with all of the information as well. And I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye.